Hey guys, in this video I'll be using 2 empty bottles and a cardboard to make some potion bottles. To start, I measure the middle section of the bottles and cut out a strip of paper to make a label. I will call one potion Sweet Dreams, no refunds, and the other I will call Sweet Dreams, extra strong. For the text I looked up some images of a medieval alphabet and I copied it as best as I could. Then I used some tracing paper to replicate it into my label. At first I used a black marker to color it in, but that bled outside the lines, so I used a black pencil instead. After making the labels, I found out that the spacing of the letters looks good when it lay flat, but once it was wrapped around the bottle it was a little too far apart, and I did not want to redo it again, so I made 2 little cardboard labels as well. To make them look a little more interesting, I used coffee to stain the paper. And while that was drying, I will now start making the decorations for the bottles by making colored flowers made out of cardboard. To make one I need 2 circles of 2 cm, then one of 1.5 and one of 1 cm. And to make things easier, I will color it in first with equaline markers. Then I flip it over and I draw within the circle a cross to use as a guideline. And on those lines I draw these shapes to make the petals of the flower and cut these out as well. Once that is done, I use a black marker to put some dots onto the smaller flower. And with the darker purple I go over the middle part to have some color variation. Then I use a blender to make it look more natural. Now with the petals colored, I used white PVA glue to glue them together, but first I cut up little squares to lift the petals up from each other. Now back to the bottles. I used 2 different kinds of glue to stick the labels onto the bottles. For the no refund I used white PVA glue, and for the extra strong I used universal transparent from Bison, which for me was the best option because the PVA glue made the paper very brittle. And so I kept using it to also glue the cord into the bottle, but that was less than ideal. Because it does not dry very fast, it was quite a chore to wrap the cord around the bottle and have it stay there. Now alongside the flowers I will also make some butterflies to use as decoration. I have to admit, this is because my plan was first to have the bottles of extra strong to be decorated with skulls made of Fimo clay. But I was not capable to make skulls that small, so I ended up making butterflies instead. So after making the body using a strip of cardboard, I use it as a reference to make the wings. And to make that look a little more interesting, I cut out the insides with a hobby knife. Then I glue the wings onto some paper. 2 butterflies I will leave white and 4 I will color red for the bottle extra strong. With my flowers and my butterflies ready, I can now stick them onto my potion bottle using a hot glue gun. I also have to mention that the butterflies are not that sturdy and I had to glue them back together a couple of times. So next time if I'm making something like this again, I'm using stronger glue. Then after that, all I have to do is put the tags on with some piece of cord, and I added some wooden pearls for some extra weight. And so that's another project finished. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I hope you stick around for the next one. Until then.